I'm in the process of putting together a simple toolkit for my truck. Nothing complicated here, just really basic. A minimalist toolkit, there we go, for roadside emergencies and repairs, stuff to get me home, okay? And the reason I'm doing this is I just got a new truck. New to me, it's an '04. All right, but I have been back and forth between my Nissan Xterra that I'm about to get rid of now and my Tahoe. All right, plus I've also got a new house that I'm remodeling. I got stuff scattered everywhere. And I wanted to start off organized with the new truck and have a dedicated toolbox for it and for the Tahoe that I'll be keeping. Now, that way I'm not trying to swap things back and forth. All right, and the reason I thought this was worth talking about and sharing is because my thoughts on this are so different than seems like just about everybody else's. Most people, and I understand this, they want to keep a lot of tools with them so they're prepared for whatever emergency. Okay, I get it. The problem is, by my thinking, the overwhelming majority of breakdowns are because a part broke and we've got to replace it. Fuel pump goes bad, water pump, drive shaft breaks, whatever. All right. I don't keep an extra drive shaft with me. All right, so therefore, I've got to get to a parts store to buy replacement parts for the majority of breakdowns I'm going to have. If I can get to a parts store, then I can get by my house to get my tools, the proper tools for that job. And this is my shop. This is where I keep my tools. That's why I have a roll-around tool chest over here to keep my tools in it and keep it organized. I don't want to turn my truck into a tool chest. Plus, there's all the other things we do, activities and so forth, that we could better use that storage space for than to try to keep a bunch of tools in there that we're probably not going to need, or that we could get to if we had to when we went to get parts. And whatever job we do, or whatever activities, we all have something we use a truck for. That's usually why we have a truck. Fishing, I might want to keep a prop in the toolbox, a couple props, one for the trolling motor, one for the big motor. Carpenter, he's going to want to keep drop cord, skill saws, tool belt, and all that stuff. Anyway, you get the idea. All right, so that space is valuable. I don't want to put stuff in there that I'm not going to be able to get from my house anyway. Plus, I don't want to spend a lot of money on tools that I've already got and then have a bunch of duplicates in my vehicle. All right, so that's my thinking on this. Now, I do want to be prepared for a few things that we can repair. Okay, hose bust. All right, that's really common. I want a roll of duct tape. This is painter's tape. I thought I had a roll of duct tape out here, but no, it's in one of my other vehicles. So this is already on the list. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm going through this and writing this down and getting the actual items in place. And I've got an old Craftsman toolbox here that a friend gave me. I've been wanting to restore this. I know I don't have time right now, but it'll still work fine for this. And I don't want to fill this up. Just because it's got space doesn't mean I have to use it. I want to actually be able to pick this up when I'm done. And vehicle, I want to be able to reach in my toolbox in the back of the truck in the bed, pick this up, get the tools out I need, make the few little repairs I can. All right, so what few tools I do have are going to easily fit into this, and it's going to include a roll of duct tape, screwdrivers, hose clamps. We can fix hose clamps with that. I don't want these monsters here. Well, first of all, they won't fit in the toolbox. All right, and these are two huge screwdrivers, but a big screwdriver can be really useful, especially a flathead, because you can turn it into a pry bar. I know it's not made for that. We're talking emergencies here. All right, so I'm going to get me a couple of big screwdrivers, and I'm going to get me a small screwdriver with bits. All right, and I really thought hard about this. Should I get a couple of just regular screwdrivers, Phillips straight head, in different sizes? And then that's when I thought, no. With the bits, I can also have some Allen heads, and plus the different size straight heads and Phillips and so forth, and torque heads also. All right, so I can cover a lot of ground with this. Okay. Needle nose pliers. They come in handy, and also with the cutters on them. Crescent wrench. And I like two size crescent wrenches. So I want I'm assuming this is 12 inch. This looks like the 8-inch here. You can do a lot with these. They're not ideal. I'd rather have a dedicated set of wrenches and sockets and all that good stuff, but they'll work in a pinch. Vice grips. Channel locks. And a hammer with shot in it. Okay. I don't know why, but when you're broke down on the side of the road and you're aggravated and mad, it's nice to have a hammer sometimes. You can fix a lot with this. Or break it to the point that it's going to have to be fixed. Right. And one of the really important things is this. Okay, our phones, they are important for us now. Okay, so I want to make sure I got a battery for this so I can call for help. I can call a tow truck or whatever if I have to. Now for a few things I don't have here. For one, a multimeter. Okay, those are great for diagnosing problems, finding bad fuses, relays, checking the battery. Okay, I have a multimeter, but it's in my bag of electrical stuff over at the new house. I've got stuff scattered everywhere, hence the reason I need to get organized and while I'm putting together a list, so I know I've got what I need. And with the multimeter, we still have to get to the parts store to get a replacement relay or fuse or whatever, but we know which one we need to get. We can take it with us if we've already found the bad one. So if we can go ahead and diagnose the problem, it just speeds things up. All right. And same, having a DC test light where you clip it on a ground and you can check a wire to see if it's hot. Those are great for just diagnosing things, and they're simple and they're cheap. I think that'd be worth putting in here. And I'm struggling with this. A socket set with ratchet and extensions, and I'm thinking just one of those cheap boxes with all of them in there, all the sockets and ratchets, and take all the sockets out, put them on a proper rail, throw them in here. And the reason I say cheap, okay, I hate cheap tools with a passion. In a shop with our tools we use, they're such a bad value because you just constantly break them and replace them. Whereas if you get a good set of sockets, they'll last a lifetime. Or most of them will make it anyway. You're going to break a few along the way maybe, but okay, this is a dedicated truck box. I'm not going to be going in here, getting things to work on the truck. All right, that's why I have a shop. I'm going to get my good tools when I work on the truck. I want good tools. Okay, but I don't want to have a bunch of good tools in here that I'm probably never going to use. Or it's going to be very, very rarely that I use them. And I don't have many breakdowns. That's why we do our preventative maintenance. So we don't have many breakdowns. And yeah, those cheap ratchets, they're not going to last long, but they'll usually break loose a couple of nuts and bolts before they go. All right, so yeah, I'm thinking maybe that. And zip ties and baling wire. And my zip ties aren't here because they're in my electrical bag. And I say baling wire because, you know, similar purpose for both, just putting things together. But baling wire, you can wrap it around hot things and hold it up like a tailpipe that's about to fall off. Ask me how I know. So yeah, that would come in handy. I put it on the list. And I was thinking for a moment maybe a repair manual. Those are handy for diagnosing electrical problems like the relays and stuff. But with our phones now, we don't really need an actual manual unless we're just in the middle of nowhere, but we're probably in trouble then anyway. But with the phone, I want a battery bank and proper connector, because these are important, and the last thing we want is for this to go dead right when we finally get a hold of a tow truck or something. Okay, so that's a definite requirement, and I don't have my battery bank in here because it's inside charging, because I use it for camera stuff. All right, so I need a dedicated one in here, and I was thinking jumper cables. With the starters they have now, the battery powered starters that they have for vehicles, I think that's just the way to go, because jumper cables, you have to have another vehicle. With those starters, you don't. You just have to take them out every so often and charge them, make sure they keep their charge, especially in the wintertime. Cold air is rough on lithium batteries. It'll drain them quick. So yeah, I definitely want to order one of those. So that's where I'm at right now in the Minimalist Toolkit. When I get it finished and completed, we'll go over this again, because I'm sure I'm going to think of a couple of things. And in fact, I just did. A little small portable air pump that you can plug into your cigarette lighter. Those are handy. And I know somebody's going to say a plug kit for tires. Okay, I don't think I need that for the truck. That's what my spare tire's for. Okay, I'm not going to try to plug tire there. I've got to pull it off anyway to get whatever nail or whatever out. I might as well just put the spare on. Okay, but I might keep one for a trailer. All right, pulling, especially somebody else's trailer. Maybe they have a spare on it, maybe they don't. If they don't, that could come in really handy, especially if I've got the little generator right there, a little compressor that I can plug into the cigarette lighter and pump up a tire. Okay, so that could be really useful, and I've ran into that quite a few times. Okay, so yeah, I'll share this when I get it finished. And we're going to be talking about vehicles next few days, especially trucks, but that's because they are really important. A truck's like a woman. All right, they can make us or they can break us. They can help us or they can hurt us really bad. And just bottom line. Maybe that's why Mrs. River's so jealous of my truck right now. It's too much like a woman. Okay, a truck that's making us money, that's helping us get ahead, that's reliable, and it's not costing us, it's not breaking us, and it's helping us bring in money, that's invaluable. But then if we've got a truck that is not productive, and we've got huge payments on it, that can hurt us. As a matter of fact, I got a friend right now I was talking to the other day at work that he's in a pretty tight bind right now with the truck he paid too much money for just a couple of years ago, you know, when truck prices were so stupid, and he went and bought a diesel. Okay, he can't get out from under it now. Just, I feel for him on this one, and he bought it he does landscaping. All right, so he bought it to pull lawnmowers and all that stuff, but he's in kind of a bind with it. So yeah, they are important, and that's why we are going to talk more about this. But this will get me started anyway, and hopefully some of you have some ideas for things that can add, and maybe I gave you a few. God bless, and have a great evening.